Next, we're going to look on the Materials tab. And this is actually very complex, and we overview very fast, but right now we're going in the Properties, Overview Properties. However, we will have special sections just to designate it, how to work better with materials, preparing, and we're going kind of more deeper and deeper. First, right now we will look so you feel somewhat familiar with some properties when we going to special section, how to texturing and apply what's different to the plants. So let's look right here. As a material, they're going from the parent to the child. So it's meaning if we set trunk and we're creating material, if we do not specify, the children will inherit the material from the parent and so on. As a material going, we have a different areas for this. We have a main, segment, body. We also have the cup and the blades if they exist. So let's go example segment, and we'll enable blades right now. And we're going back to materials. You notice right here, blades area is now enabled because we have special materials we can apply to this. So let's look a little bit closer what we have it in each area. So materials, you can notice right here, as I said, inherit from the parent. You can always switch to default, create new material, all loaded, some already preset it. Because our inherit from parent, it is, we have root. It's not necessarily we'll take from there, so we can create from here. Also, we have an option to alternate materials if we need it. To edit materials, we can just double time click on the material itself, or right click, select edit material, all going from top menu. By default, it's open the basic material editor, and we did overview some of this in our basic in our overview sections. So we'll go switch to advanced material. Notice it's come up warning. It says warning, all section of advanced material may not visible in preview and export to the plant. So some of this, primarily if you're using procedural in other ones, they may have a problem when you're exporting. So I do recommend stay with the image mapping, because they will export nicely and you can use in other applications. So let's go click OK. And at this point, you'll see we have it multiple changes. We have it color in alpha, bumps, highlights, transparency, reflection, translucency effect. If we create additional layers, you'll notice right here we'll have an additional tab called presence. It's how these materials apply. I have a material editor for the Vue tutorials, set of tutorials. I would recommend for you to watch this, so we'll go a little bit more details how material editor advanced work with all properties, because this is similar to what we have inside the Vue. But overall, we can select what color we want it. We can select from mapped image, procedurals, or new natural grain. We also can go inside the bump, apply bumps to normal maps or along the normal, switch different productions. We also can edit functions if we need it specifically just for that material or a bump map. So we have it quite a bit flexibility. We also have it highlights here, area where we can specify. Notice we can connect them to the nodes as well. Transparency. And as well, we have a translucency, so it's very nice when you work on the blades of the leaves. We have it a reflection, and we have it area of the effects. As I say, some properties, if you, for example, use translucency, they may have its problems when you exporting. So when you use it native to Vue, they will work very well as long as you're doing in Blend Factory and inside the Vue. However, when you start exporting, some properties and options maybe won't export due to limitations of the exporting file format, whatever you're using. Okay, so let's go back. This is editor. You can always go ahead and just preload material. You notice when we open, we have a native browser, and you have the options. If you remember from file options, you can switch to the standard file manager that based on your operation system, or by default we can select from already presets. And right here you have a very nice set of the barks So we'll go ahead and select, let's go grapefruit. And you can see right here, it's applied already. And now it's applied because it's inherent. It's applied to our blades. It's applied to our trunk. And if we're going and select, for example, branches, okay, we'll connect the branch to our trunk as a new children. You can notice right here, they inherited as well the texture. Okay, let's go back to the trunk, back to materials. And also let's look closer. So we have it material, we can load it, we can edit, copy, reset, save the material, or modify it. Okay, notice what's happened when I click on alternate. We add additional material. So it's same one, but we can make a little bit different variations of this material so they can apply when we ecosystem population. So we can go over all these alternations of different materials. Okay, and also notice distribution, we have it, and the currently distribution says random. We can set different depend on what part of the tree plant we're using or components. Okay, next we have it segment body UV. It's a distribution of our system. So currently it's saying parametric, well, actually disabled parametric will apply to the object. So you can see right here we have it no repetition if we disable. Okay, and okay, right there, let's look, and you can see right here it's have a repetition pattern, so it's cycling through. If you want to take just to create one texture for plant, you don't want repetition, then you want to put this as a trunk mode. Let me disable this one. So right here, parametric, sorry, you want to enable parametric so you can see it's stretching and apply to the plant. Depending on what type of the texture you're using, sometimes they work well. In some cases, if you increase too much, for example, you can see it starts stretching quite a bit, but it still look okay. So it's not that as bad as you think. And in many cases, if the texture done properly, it will look very good. Okay, so next we have it map V from the end. So we have this way, it is a mapping of the texture we apply starting from the end of the segment. So the texture is aligned to the end of the segment rather than from the root. Next we have it mapping scale the U texture segment. We have it factor of the V as well. We have it offset for U and V, and we have a twist. So for example, you can see right here we start kind of scaling, and we can go scale all the way much closer, which does not necessarily look good. But again, if you start stretching or do other stuff, let's go back to 1 original, then we can have it nicer. As well, notice right there, we have it our random. And this is helpful. So if you have it a very nice texture and it's image based, you kind of a little bit shift it maybe on U and V parameters. That will allow just slightly offset the texture that look a little bit different. So the trees won't look exactly the same. As well, if you're using with a twist, you can see right here we start twisting just slightly. Same things if you apply on the random. As well, each tree will have a just slightly twist or other option, and that will create more unique look for the each plant. Okay, let's remove this one. As well, we have it graph driven for the RUV offsets, as well as a parent related for all of the other. Okay, next we have it also option to separate UV channel for detailing. So if we want to add more details, we can enable this. That will expand, and you have it options to same have it parametric apply details. You want same way as UV from the end, and as well as the original segment of UV and body, we have it options for tiles offset, UV offset, and a twist. The displacement one, it's allowed you to add additional displacement to your texture. Problem with the bump map, they look okay maybe from front, but they don't change shape. With the UV you can change shape. You have it options, you can open, click, and preload it some of the displacement as this. For example, it's normal map. You can also use a bump map or other things. Amount, you can increase quite a bit of the displacement if you need it. Okay, for example, let's go to very crazy displacement, and you can see how these change. Again, I'm going to very large amount so we can preview. The smaller will apply as well. Right here you can see some displacement does apply to this. And of course, if we go to settle right there, you can see some displacement applied. It will change shape. We also have options for offset and relation with the graphs we applied. As well, we can randomize this based on the plane. So again, it is very nice options to add additional unique to each individual plane. And I do like use a displacement. If you have it properly mapping, it most likely will come with displacement map. So you have it some of this bark like these areas, some of them will be in and some will be kind of more out. So it will create nice, not straight like pipe plant, but more natural with displacement going on. Okay, let me actually disable for a second this one. So right here you can see how this will ignore a little bit of those branches because they are assigned relative to the our trunk, so some of the thickness is changing based on this. But even in that case, it's actually a very good example to showing that based with the displacement, because they are a plant, you can see how thickness is changed based on the thickness of displacement applied to our plant. Okay, let's go back to materials. For now, we'll just disable our displacement. Next, what we'll look right here, we have a cup material, and it is on the top and currently applied same as we have it. Base it on what you're using, cut only, same things as we have before on the shape. Now we have it apply same materials based mode on what kind of we have for the texturing. Some properties like angle, scale, and borders currently is disabled because we have it inherited from the parent. You always can go and select same, for example, grapefruit bark, and you notice we have it now options of the angle, scale, and border is enabled. So we can actually go on the cup, this right on top, this area, and you can see we can scale up and down this one. We can change angle as well and apply border if needed. Okay, so the same, it's nice options. You can create it. For example, if you have a tree that will cut the, for example, top of the bark. Okay, let me see if I can find one that already exists. As just for fun, so we can put right here. You can see we can modify it, and you can create like cut in a tree or other effects. Okay, so right there. Same, we have an option for the cup displacement, so we can apply like this end of this with amount and as well as the offset. And if we have a secondary cup is enabled, the previously right there where we have a secondary cup, then you will have it all options same as you have it for the cup. Original cup will be enabled, so you can add additional materials and modify all other properties. Okay, and next we have it for the blades. So there are also not a secondary displacement, sorry, it's will related to the our cup. Put on this one, but the blades is related if we enable blades. Then we have it, this options enabled for our blades. Same, you can assign same materials, or we can change to something different. And for example, right here we're using alpha map. Currently it says as parametric, so we can disable. In this case we have the repetition, and we can just disable UV extension, so it will symmetrically. It does not extend straight. We can apply our UV scaling on a tile. Okay, offset. And as well, we can go inside and modify on the displacement if we want to any displacement to load it. Notice that these materials, what we just kind of very fast overview before jumping, this is materials and properties tab. It is will apply differently for each. For example, if we go inside the branch material, you notice they are very take inherited from parent, but it does mean you cannot going and select and specify different type of materials for different branches or components, and this is what kind of give you quite a bit power when you're creating. Also notice we have it, if you look on a segment, we have it not double-sided. So if you enable double-sided, your texturing is changed, and on this case you can see the materials going around kind of, and going from 12 sides. On this case you have it ability to have it upper and lower level. Mostly it's for the leaves. When you work with the leaves, you can select it material for top and a bottom for two sides of the component. So the segment will represent correctly top and bottom.